course, this has to be explained a little bit. We have a pasuk, Ulaveisecha, and we discussed previously that both Rav Yochanan and Resh Lakish agree that from the pasuk Ulaveisecha we learn that a man is allowed to bring the bikurim of his wife despite the fact that he only has a kinyan peiros in the karka and no more. However, it would seem that there's a very crucial difference, however, between the halacha Ulaveisecha according to Rav Yochanan and according to Resh Lakish. Rav Yochanan learns out from the halacha Ulaveisecha, like we learned previously in the Gemara, that the halacha is that a kinyan peiros is kekinyan haguf dami, which means that although the bailim, the husband, only has a kinyan peiros in the property of his wife, it is considered like a kinyan haguf, and therefore when he gets to the Beis HaMikdash, he's allowed to say, Hu'adama asher nasatali. It would seem then, according to Rav Yochanan, that when someone is bringing Bikurei Ishtai, he's not actually bringing Bikurei Ishtai, he's bringing his own Bikurim. Yes, by definition it was grown on his wife's property, but since he holds Kinyan Peiros is Kinyan Haguf Dami, he's actually bringing it on his own behalf. So therefore, the Chidush of the Halacha Ulaveisecha is not that you could bring your wife's Bikurim, rather the Chidush is that the Kinyan HaPeiros which you have in the ground, in the property of your wife, suffices for it to be called your own Bikurim. Whereas according to Resh Lakish, who holds that Kinyan Peiros is Lavke Kinyan Haguf Dami, it is very possible that we could say that Ulaveisecha does not tell us that the Bikurim belongs to the husband. The Chidush of Ulaveisecha is that despite the fact that Kinyan Peiros is Lavke Kinyan Haguf Dami, and it is not considered the property of the husband, the Torah tells us a Chidush that a husband could bring the Bikurim of his wife. If this explanation of the Halacha Ulaveisecha is the case, we could understand why Resh Lakish was asking from this Halacha, and why, according to Rav Yochanan, it is not actually difficult. The halacha which is stated in the Brais is, Hayababa derech bikura ishte biyadei. A person was on the way to Yerushalayim, and he was bringing his wife's bikurim to Yerushalayim. On the way to Yerushalayim, Shama Shemesa Ishta, his wife died, and as the Rishonim explained, now he owns the property entirely. It would seem that according to Resh Lakish, when he started out to take the bikura ishta, Hayababa derech bikura ishte biyadei, we said that the halacha Ulaveisecha, which permits this, what it's saying is that the husband could bring the bikurim of his wife. However, since the land was transferred on the way to Yerushalayim, since he inherited it, and now it belongs completely to him, at this point, the bikurim is being brought on his own behalf. So therefore, I could have had a havamina, that it would be b'chalal the halacha v'lakach the v'heveisa, because it is not the same owner who sent the bikurim who was actually bringing them to Yerushalayim. Previously it was the bikurim of his wife, and now it is his bikurim. But according to the definition of Ulaveisecha, which we explained according to Rav Yochanan, that the halacha Ulaveisecha tells us that Kinyan Peiros is kekinyan haguf dami, like Rav Yochanan himself explained previously, that the truth is that when he was Haya Baba Derech Bikura Ishtai Biyadai, it really wasn't Bikura Ishtai. This which the Torah tells us, that Melamed Shada Mevi Bikura Ishtai, is only telling us that the husband could bring the Bikurim because the Kinyan HaPeiros is Kinyan Haguf Dami, and therefore it's his own Bikurim. And therefore we understand according to Rav Yochanan why the klal of Rav Yossi b'Rav Chanina of L'kachta v'Heveisa Achitehei L'kicha v'Hava B'Yachad does not apply to this situation. Because indeed, although he inherited the field on the way to Yerushalayim, the ownership does not change, because it was previously his Bikurim, and it is now his Bikurim. And that's what Rav Yochanan tells us, Kamash Malan, the Braita tells us, that Afilu Utzmei Sheishta, he's maybe V'Kaira, because even previously when he was bringing the Bikurim, he was bringing it on his own behalf. And the Gemara continues, we have the Machlaikas which we have just